Film photography has a unique charm and aesthetic that many people love, but it can also be expensive and pretty time-consuming to shoot and develop. That's why I'm going to show you some alternatives that help you create a similar effect with your digital photos. From budget-friendly options to more advanced choices, I've got you covered. My name's Davey. Let's get into it. The first way to make your photos look more like film is to use a camera that has built-in film simulations. Some of the best cameras for this are Fuji cameras. I understand this isn't software or an app, but if you're serious about achieving that authentic film look, investing in a camera like this is a game changer. You get all the benefits of using a physical digital camera without needing to develop any film. I own the Fuji X100V, which allows you to tweak the settings to your liking, such as adding more or less grain, or changing the white balance, or manipulating the highlights in your images. This camera is on the pricier side. If you're somebody who is a casual shooter, I don't recommend buying this camera, or maybe even any type of Fuji camera. While it might be on the more expensive side, its image quality will elevate your photography to a whole nother level. I have a bunch of videos about this camera, including one on how to set it up and shoot with these recipes. The Fuji X100V is going to be one of the more expensive things that we talk about today. Right now it's sold out everywhere, and buying secondhand will likely require you to pay a premium, probably more like $2,000 Canadian. All the prices we're talking about today are in Canadian. However, you do get what you pay for. Fuji cameras definitely offer excellent picture quality and performance. The X100V is easy to use with a simple intuitive interface. You can shoot pretty much everything in auto and get some pretty incredible results. And once you press the shutter button, the images are done and don't require any further editing. You can easily switch between film simulation modes and adjust the settings with dials and buttons. It still is a physical camera, and you will still need to bring it around with you, unlike your phone and some of the apps that we're going to be talking about today. A physical Fuji camera gives you a lot of control over your photos, allowing you to adjust all the settings that you would want to adjust, like exposure, aperture, shutter speed, ISO, so on and so forth. You can also shoot RAW and JPEG images at the same time, giving you more control if you want to edit your images later. The X100V lets you program in an unlimited amount of settings. You can use websites like Fuji X Weekly to find new looks or browse the internet. Every day, new film recipes are created, and there's a ridiculous amount of options. The X100V and other Fuji cameras are some of the most fun cameras that I've ever used, especially if you like using a flash. You can also enjoy using a hybrid viewfinder, which allows you to switch between optical and electronic view modes. All in all, Fujis are great cameras for anybody who wants to create photos with a film-like feel. It has a lot of film simulation modes that allow you to transform your photos without any editing. And the fun factor is high. It does come with the trade-off of price, and that's not going to suit everybody. Let's get into some apps. The second way to make your photos look like film is to use a photo editing software that has film emulation built in. One of the best apps for this is Dehancer. Dehancer is a plugin for Lightroom, Photoshop, Capture One, and some of the bigger photo editing apps we all know. Today, we're looking at the mobile app, which is available on iPhone and iPad, and it is very powerful. It uses real photographic and motion picture film stocks with analog controls. Dehancer has over 50 film emulation profiles, including Kodak Gold, Kodak Portra, Ilford, and more. This program gives you a ridiculous amount of controls over your image by adjusting stuff like film grain, bloom, halation, vignetting, and more to enhance your film look. It's clear that Dehancer isn't just an ordinary app with filters. There's years of scientific research behind this technology. If you open up the app, it's pretty easy to see that. This is the cream of the crop for dialing in everything film. Dehancer is one of the most expensive tools on this list at $150 a year. All of these prices I'm going to be talking about today are in Canadian. If you are purchasing the computer-based version of Dehancer, I do think that price makes a bit more sense, but $150 for the phone app is steep. If you've never developed film or know the difference between Kodak Endura glossy paper or Fujifilm 3513 print film, you may have a difficult time with this app. There's a lot of toggles in this app that even I have no idea what they mean. You probably need to have some sort of knowledge of photo editing to use it to its entire full potential. Dehancer gives you a good amount of control over your edits, allowing you to adjust everything about your image. I would say that my favorite section in Dehancer is the halation and bloom. None of the apps that we're talking about today even have these as an option, and I think that's what sets this app apart. This alone can make your phone photos look like film. Dehancer has a lot of film stocks that cover a wide range of styles and moods. I think there's about 60, and that includes a bunch of popular film. In my opinion, Dehancer is a more professional tool that requires some knowledge and skills and patience to use properly. The app is not as user-friendly as some of the other options we're going to talk about today. However, I think it might be the most powerful app that we're talking about today. I've seen some other folks' videos on YouTube who have used Dehancer, and I'm extremely impressed with their results. especially for video editing. Dehancer is a great tool for anybody who wants to create professional photos with a film-like feel. The photos taken on your phone can look just as good as something shot on film. If you'd like to find more about it or try it for yourself, there's a link in the description of this video.
I gotta jump in here. Since recording that last little bit, I've had a chance to use Dehancer a little bit more, and more importantly on a larger screen on my iPad mini instead of just on my phone. Seeing these images larger, it's clear to see that a lot of science has gone into the Dehancer program. Whatever they've packed into this program convinced me that these images look like film. The more I use it, the more impressed I am with how good the images look without needing to fiddle with all of the sliders like I initially said. But I will stick with what I said about the bloom and halation. They're the most powerful sliders in my opinion, and I think that's where the magic happens. I do think this is a program worth checking out. You can find out more in the description. Anyways, here's some more.
If you're looking for something with a more affordable option without compromising on quality, Tezza might be the app for you. My wife actually introduced me to this app. Tezza has over 40 presets that give your photos a vintage, moody, or more colorful feel to them. You can also adjust the exposure, contrast, saturation, all the stuff to fine-tune your edits. There's also dust, light leaks, paper textures, and shadows to add some more texture and dimension to your images. The app also contains something called Flow, which allows you to copy and paste the series of edits that you've created from one image to another. Tezza is one of the more affordable apps on this list, but it's by no means cheap, costing between $50 to $80 a year depending on your subscription. If this is your main app for editing, I think the cost is completely worth it. Tezza is very easy to use with a simple and intuitive interface. You can easily browse through the presets and apply them with just a single tap. The sliders and buttons are extremely self-explanatory. This app gives you a decent amount of control over your edits, allowing you to adjust all the basics that you'd expect like exposure, contrast, and saturation. Tezza has a wide variety of presets that cover a wide variety of styles, and it's continually updated, which is fantastic. The app is a ton of fun to use, especially if you like to experiment with different looks and textures. You can also create amazing stories with the templates and text options. Tezza is a great app for anybody who wants to create stunning photos with a film-like feel. Some of the filters are meant to emulate film, and other ones are just fun to use. It's fun and easy to use. However, the cost may be a determining factor for you. Now, I'm sure you've heard of VSCO and likely used it at some point, but if you haven't opened it for the past few years, there's some new features that you likely don't know about. VSCO has over 200 presets that range from subtle enhancements to dramatic transformations. Along with the filters, you can adjust the exposure, contrast, saturation, grain, everything that you would expect in your edits. VSCO also has effects like dust, light leaks, scratches, and some other textures to add some dimension to your photos. One of the features that keeps me using VSCO is that you can easily copy and paste your edits from one photo to another. I think something that also separates VSCO from the other apps that we're talking about today is that you can shoot the photos right inside the app with cool effects. There is an option to shoot with a prism effect, retro, and something called Aurora. Once the photo is taken, a filter could be put on the photo right away and you're done. VSCO is a free download to use, but if you're looking to use all the features, it's going to cost you $40 a year. This app is very easy to use and has a simple and intuitive interface. You can easily browse through the presets and effects and just apply them with one tap. VSCO gives you a good amount of control over your edits, and I think it treats the exposure slider properly, much better than the native iPhone Photos app. There's so many filters in here that it's kind of overwhelming, but once you do find what you're looking for, they don't disappoint. VSCO is a lot of fun to use, especially if you start taking pictures in the app. You can also join the community and explore other users' photos for inspiration. I think it's a great app for anybody who wants to create stunning pictures with a film-like feel. It has lots of presets and effects that can transform your photos instantly. I may have just saved the best for last, and if you've made it this far, you can let me know in the comments if you agree. NOMO Cam is an app that combines simplicity and affordability. This app simulates the experience of shooting with a real point-and-shoot film camera. The free version of this app has some great options for cameras, but I do think that some of the best are just a couple bucks for a one-time, lifetime purchase. I love that when you switch between cameras, the interface for the camera also switches, as well as the camera roll. Some cameras allow you to shoot with a flash, and others allow you to create double exposures, and some of the cameras give you different aspect ratios for your photos. Some of the cameras allow you to upload previous photos that you've taken, but I do think it's most fun to take the photos right in the app. NOMO Cam is free to download and use, and I like that you can choose cameras that you want to buy for a really affordable one-time cost. There is an option for an annual $33 a year subscription that gives you access to all of the features. NOMO Cam is extremely easy to use. There is no knowledge of photography or editing needed at all. Anybody could use this app. There's no manual controls in this app, and there's no options to edit your photos. However, you can choose between different cameras. You're not choosing this app to have control over your images. NOMO Cam has a ton of camera models that emulate different film stocks, and I think they're pretty solid. This app is a lot of fun to use, especially if you like to challenge yourself and try new things. I love looking through my old camera rolls. It's like looking through an old photo album. And there we go, 5 incredible ways to take your digital photos and make them look like film. Whether you're willing to splurge on a high-end quality camera like the Fuji X100V or prefer the convenience of mobile apps like VSCO and NOMO Cam, I think there's an option for every budget and skill level. Remember that each of these tools brings something unique to the table, so experiment and find the one that best suits your style and preference. If you're interested in what we've been talking about today, I've left links in the description of this video, including a discount for Dehancer. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. I'm Davey, and until next time, we'll see you later.